Shoot, a handyman is a job that almost all states, if you take jobs under a certain monetary threshold, you don't have to have a license for it. So you can get business cards, you can advertise yourself, and you don't have to have a license. I remember one of my first jobs. I was like I replaced the lady's fascia and some of her soffit. I made like $600 for like 2 days of work. But $600 in 2 days. No funny business, no corrupt type of thing to get the money. I was so proud. I took that check and showed my mother. I was like, "Look, mom, I made $600 in 2 days." I was, you know, like, uh, that opportunity is here for every American male.
My brother-in-law just got a job, or just created a job going back and painting. We've all seen those guys paint the parking lot stripes on everything, but they've got new regulations in Florida now that public buildings have to be a certain way. So he's going back and getting paid big time by the government to go redo their parking lines.
See, that's just, and that's not everywhere, that opportunity, but that's an opportunity that was there. It's like we just shoot, the whole reason I was even talking about a dang CNC machine. I just bought one. I bought one of those tabletop, the top ones. It's a CNC router machine where and I have a leg up because I know how to use computer modeling programs and whatnot. But you put the design through a software and it sends it to the machine and it carves it into wood. And we're planning on doing like 3D reliefs of like horses and cattle, and different things. And at the county fair this year, get a booth for like $30 and put a bunch of those things for sale. Like a nice stained and round over edges and these skills that you learn and you put them to use. And then we ordered a 3D printer too to like do certain 3D printing business, producing parts or like memorabilia or different things, as like a side business. Because yeah, the handyman business makes good money, but I'm still away from home, like doing it. And so those side businesses are ways to like establish means of income for the money to come in, and even a way for something for my kids to be able to do and start small businesses of their own. But that goes right back to what Lalo said. You have to have your progeny educating you on the opportunities that you have. It's like I don't know if you guys ever saw that one guy he used to dress up in like Riddler costumes and do these crazy TV commercials about all these government things that you can
Yep,
make
yep.
all this money. Yeah, he was trying to tell the public all the ways they could get free money from the government, and only the people that listened took up on those things. All these different grants. Like, yeah, some of them you won't be able to do, but most of them, it's just a few months of filing paperwork. That's all it is.
There's other benefits you didn't talk about as far as working from home. Once you get to that point, is that you can also write off. Well, taxes is always a thing, right? So we can always write off your mortgage percentage of your house mortgage, power bill, phone bill, internet bill, all that stuff you can write off. So to reduce your tax burden, because at the end of the day, they take so much of our taxes, it feels like we're working for the government, right? So we have to find loopholes and ways out of it. That's why the whole gate system, keep people from getting into this, and then the system to keep you on board via taxes, and get, like, they just passed this law last year where you were supposed BOI, beneficial ownership information. So if anybody was part of your business that was a beneficial owner, you had to give all of your information of your business to the government. It was a fact finding, or a government going after small business. They wanted to know who your vendors were, who you're banking through, and all that stuff. Basically, you had to give all this information up, or there was going to be a penalty as March 31st. But as soon as March 28th turned around, they put a little fine lettering on the website, the FinCEN, Financial Crimes Network of the IRS. Oh, we are now not forcing, or not going to penalize people for not signing up for the BOI. So they got like at least 30% of people in America, small business owners, to give up all their information to this branch of the government, FinCEN branch of the government, so that they could go after them during the next lockdown, right? And they'll have all their information every which way. And so I think small business people, by the elitist or the controllers, families, whatever they are, I mean, we are their biggest enemy, the small business people of America. A lot of people think big business keep America going and government and subsidies and all that, but it's really small business that keeps people going.
Yeah, I think that's what I was talking about with the I was mentioning to Geo last time when we were talking about this institutionalized like uh, um, destroying of the family, like whether it be by means of poor health through foods and vaccinations and these things, and um, uh, institutionalized, learned, poor parental upbringing, um, or things like that. But I think one of the things that is like the key for why those things are even and the thing is because they understand that wealth is established generationally. So if you establish ideas like kicking your kid out by 18 when they don't have a foot in the door,
Right.
you tear down the means for that family to generate wealth because it when you have a family, it doesn't matter what your mother and father did, doesn't matter about your grandfather and all that. Yeah, okay, cool if you have some good progeny or whatnot, but it's all about what you do and how you raise your children and what your children put back into the family.
Well,
You have to establish that, and that's a step that they fight hard for
Yahweh,
men not to.
sorry to interrupt, but have you seen, to your point, have you seen the videos or clips of people out there doing the family compounds? I guess they got like 20 acres and one guy builds a big house and they bring everybody in and then, you know what I mean? Instead of kicking the kids out at 18 or
I'm
go make a
I'm
man
doing
out of
it,
yourself,
bro.
that mentality.
I'm doing it. I've got four. My fifth is on the way. My daughter's gonna start that that aspect of her homeschooling soon because my plan is each of them when they're 12. So she's turning 11 this year. So next year she'll
Yeah.
start. But part of their homeschooling that we have outlined is each of them are going to build a house that they're going to complete before they're 18. We got 40 acres in the middle of nowhere, all this and that. And me and the wife had to go, quite a struggle and give up a lot of comfortabilities and different things, and whatever. But each of them are going to build a house. Now, whether they want to leave, whether they want to go out and do their own thing, or whether they don't want to have a business from home, they want to go out and experience the world, so be it. But they will always know that they have their own house to come back to. They don't have to come back and stay in mom and dad's house. They literally have their own house that they can come back to. So that's going to be for each of them. Um,
Right. That's how it should be. You know, that's how it should be for all American families if we had a government that was looking out after us. But we have to look out after ourselves and create our own family compounds, just like Yahweh is talking about. That was my dream. He seems to be about 10 years ahead of me. Good. Amazing.
that's how why all these Indian families own gas stations and 7-Elevens and smoke shops. Like I've had a few Indian friends through high school in Sacramento where that's how it was. Like the kid, all his after school hours, all his free time after besides studying, went to working the smoke shop or working the gas station. And by the time they were 21, that smoke shop or gas station that they were operating, they owned because while they were working it, the family saved on all the labor that they would have had to pay someone to work it to where they were able to open up another business. But now their son or their daughter has a business of their own or a small grocery store or whatnot. And it's so, man, that's how they do it. That's how the Russians do it. That's how the Indians do it. That's how the Chinese people do it. And we're the ones that have the best access to the dang opportunities, and yet we don't do it. That's crazy.
They do it here with the houses. 20 people in a house. They pay it
Yep.
off. And they buy another one. Fill that up as well.
Yep. Like my mom used to say that about all the Filipinos. When she was a manager at a company in San Francisco, and she would be the one hiring the workers. And all these dudes, she noticed how to hire good, diligent guys. And all these dudes really really respect my mom. They're almost like were uncles to me growing up. But these men would be like 8, 10 men in like a 2 bedroom apartment in the city. Yeah, the rent for the apartment was like 3 grand, but split up between 10 men, they're paying like $300 a month to live in the city where they're making like 6 to 7 grand a month on regular jobs, and then they're sending money back to their families and all that. And it's like they have no complaints. They see the opportunity in this country, and they walk around happy at work, knowing the money they're making.
I remember, I guess 20 years ago, listening to Rush Limbaugh, working as a laborer. and going on working as a laborer for going on 15 years at that point in time in the same field, wondering why I wasn't getting ahead, but working my way to the top of companies, but not really being able to achieve success. And it dawned on me that I needed to work for myself, and I had to get out there and learn everything about the business, all the aspects of it, and then go into business for myself. But it was much easier to do back then than it is now. There are way more opportunities because of the internet and the information age that we live in. You can build your own computer. Anybody can learn anything with YouTube, just about. We're all YouTube learners now. It's just fascinating. But listening to Rush Limbaugh for all those years, listening to him to say, there's a guy that just came into America a year ago, and he's got his own house now, his own business, doing all this. I kept hearing these stories of immigrants coming into America within 5 years, having a successful business, and here I've been working for 15 years as a laborer, can't get ahead. And it kept bothering me that I wasn't able to do this. So listening to Rush Limbaugh and every weekend it's open line Fridays where people will call in, just like we're calling in and discussing things right now. People will call in and just give him so much thanks for helping them get their business started, but helping them realize to get off their ass and get out there and make it happen for them, that anybody can have that. As we as Americans are raised up in the public education system, we get out, I guess we think that life is supposed to hand us stuff, but no, you actually have to work like you're an immigrant to get ahead. And that's the way probably we should have.
Yep. Yep. It's like, man, and the easiest way to do it is look for what you can provide to other people. Everyone has something they can provide other people. You have a skill, you have a set of knowledge, you have something you have that you can use that other people need, that other people are looking for. But once you realize that you have that, then you realize that you can start a business, that you can do something. And even if you think you don't, you can, just like you just said, you can learn so many skills on YouTube. It ain't freaking funny. Like the things that are on YouTube, the instructionals that are on YouTube that people put out for free, you go back just 20 years ago, people were charging hundreds of dollars for videos like that. And now they're free. Like some of those things are live, like college style courses that, like, if you sit down at the seat of your pants university and learn these things and apply that knowledge, it's no different than if someone went to university and learned that stuff. Like, just applying oneself is all you have to do.
If I can do it, you can do it too.
Right.
Here's my course. Download this app and then get the full information of my course. $5.99.
That's why I have a hard time selling information. I have a real hard time. Plus, like, anytime I'm like giving like information, I'm gonna end up like speaking things according to the gospel, and I ain't gonna sell any talk about Yahweh. I'd be out of favor with Yahweh. I do something like that. So it's like all like carpentry, handyman work is really fulfilling for me. Like, I went to college for computer animation and game design. I finally found an avenue with the CNC machines to like apply that knowledge where it could be of use. But crafting things, providing someone goods, fixing things for people, building things for people, that's where I find my fulfillment when it comes to like monetary gain. You know what I mean?
I do. I create different designs every week for the last 20 years for people and help them with their businesses and school functions and events. Screen printing is what I'm talking about. But it's more than just screen printing. It's helping people with their family reunions. And I mean, I've got like 30 pictures of people wearing my shirts at their family reunions. And that brings joy to me just seeing that, It's awesome.
Yeah. You drive by a house that you painted, or you drive by a house that you did their bathroom in, and it's like, that's something you did. You put your skills out there. You provided something for people. Like, it's nice when a client messages you and they're like, if you've got funny feelings, if you've got funny feelings, it's because of how happy I am with the work you've done and things like that. Those are rewarding things as a person. And if people look to those things, like, you'll have a lot more of a fulfilling life.
I think other people feed off your passion for it too, though. When they come in to talk to you about a job or whatever, you're all smiles, can't wait to get and solve their problem for them, dude. You're gonna just make a friend. Not only that, they're gonna call you every time. And so having that passion about what you do is exponential.
Dude, like, even okay, like, I give an example, like the guy came in and finished up his work and stuff like that. He was charging 85 an hour, and I come in charging 45. Like, new walls that were built are like an inch at a deviation from one corner to the other. like stupid stuff like that. Okay, and I couldn't imagine charging someone 85 freaking bucks an hour for certain things. Now, certain things where I know like the job is like, let's say it's like a $6,000 or an $8,000 job, I'll put like a $2,000 price tag, knowing that I'm coming in well less than half of what the person is, and they're happy paying that. But your clients actually do end up becoming your friends. Like they're happy that they're getting this great deal for work that they know anywhere else they would have paid this amount for. Um,
I can attest to that. I have a HVAC company, and man, dude, going to people's homes, it's all about trust, and of course,
yeah,
recommendations
yeah.
afterwards.
Dude, and if
So
you
yeah,
you can pay for advertising all you want, but if you do good
oh,
work,
I don't.
you have no need to pay for advertising because everything is word of mouth.
Yeah, and what's crazy is like the job I'm doing today, I'm changing a full system, and I did it over the phone, so like kind of coming in blind, but yeah, easy peasy.
Yeah, you establish good relationship with clients too on like recurring jobs and stuff. You come in, they end up cooking you lunch. They'll make you breakfast, have coffee ready for you. They want to have like a hour, 2 hour long conversation with you as a person. Like it's a beautiful thing when you go in and you're respecting people and you're operating on trust and you're actually delivering on that trust. Because it's just way more fulfilling, man. And you don't go in looking to rape
Well,
people.
well, I think there's still a balance there. I'm not there for therapy as well, too. So let me do my job.
Well,
Your
it's
job
like,
is therapy. Doing your job right is good therapy. It really is.
Well, no,
yeah.
I'm just saying, like you're saying, the guy's talking to you for 2 hours. Like, well, let me get
Oh,
back to
right.
my job.
Yeah.
Well, they're paying you by the hour, or you have a set price on a job, and you know the money you're making. When these things work out, you're never going to be in a situation like, oh, I need to get back to that, unless things are like someone comes up the side blue and it's like really dragging on, and it's not the client, and they're kind of distracting you. But if it's the client, no, it almost becomes part of the job. And a lot of the times these are people who have had you know experiences in life, and the conversations you have, you get to hear stories. Like one of my clients, he worked out in Alaska a whole bunch and flew planes, and shoot, the company used to fly a plane to this little town to pick him up to take him out to work, and all these different stories, and he used to do a lot of hunting. And you know other clients, nurses, you hear all these stories in the ER and just all these different things that you can't put a price tag on, that you get to hear about. You can't. Like, people look for the hottest video online to hear some of these things, and you're hearing it just by listening to a fellow human being.
Well, I don't know if it's, because of course, Yahweh, I don't want you to be underpaid, right? But you're saying that the person that was getting paid $85, he was doing sloppy work. What can you charge $100 because your work is like, nice and 90 and straight?
I absolutely could, but I just can't reason within myself the righteousness in charging someone that amount. I don't have any bills. I live off grid. So it's like the only bills I have are my internet bill and my phone bill in the month. Well, and food for the family. But other than that, it's like, as for bills and stuff, there's none of that. So it's like my overhead is almost the same as if I was getting paid that and had a bunch of bills. Um, but it's just, yeah, there's certain work where it's like, and my whole thing isn't even the 85, because like I said, I understand. It's like, if you're gonna charge that, give quality of work. Don't just show up with like a bunch of fancy tools and a job box like someone's paying you for an appearance. Actually do a good job. Yeah. Like even the cabinets, the lower cabinets, when I went to install the countertops and whatnot. I had a fab in the countertops. But the wall, it's old house. That wall was out of deviation simply because it was an old house. It wasn't a new built wall. So that's understandable. And that wall was like inch and a half out deviation over like 12, 13 feet. And in the middle there was a hump because joists pushing out, or studs pushing out a little bit. Um, when you install countertops, you have a backsplash that goes in. That backsplash sits out about a half inch to an inch, depending on how thick it is, whether it's tile or whether it's a set backsplash. That gives the cabinet installer, if there's a deviation in the wall, you're able to float some of the cabinets away from the wall, um, with spacing or anything, to keep them straight, because the backsplash will end up hiding that gap. He sucked them straight to the wall, and so you have the backs of the cabinets all wavy, but then when you tie in the faces of the cabinets, now some of the drawers don't close flush. Now, what kind of shit is that when the person's paying 7,000 for their cabinets and paying you $85 an hour to do the work? What kind of shit is that? You know what I'm saying?
You might be using one of those curved levels.
It just may be, right? It's like even that new wall. Like I finished the bathroom and I put up their vanity mirror, nice bump out, real thick vanity medicine cabinet mirror thing. And on the new wall, literally half the bottom part of the vanity is an inch away from the wall, while the other side's flush. There's a fucking inch deviation in a brand new, and it's only a 30-inch freaking cubby wall. Like that comes down to how you scribed it on the floor when you put it up. And then like some of the drywall isn't fully attached to the stud to where the stud's bouncing in the wall. And then even the vent pipe is bouncing in the wall because there was no strap put on it to hold it straight. Like this, and then what's that's going to happen is the wind hits the vent pipe on the roof enough, it's going to shake that in the wall, and the client's going to be like, "Why did I hear this rattling in the wall?" You know, it's like
You get that with timber frame houses a lot. The stud and the sole plate are bowed. One's going one way, one's going the other. And until the plasterboard comes and says, and he says, like, "Hold on a minute, it's not level. Let's go and take
that's
them out."
because guys grab sticks out of the stack, not checking if they're straight or not, and then they try to bend the lumber to their will. And it's like, come on now, someone's paying you 300. Like it's an $800,000 house, yeah, but okay, the contractor got paid like 3 something, 4 something to make it. It only costs like 80 or so in tools. The contractor, after paying everybody, walks away with like 40, 50 G's, and he's not even really doing most of the work. It's the guys that he's hired doing the work. It's like, why can't you put that little extra bit into it? You can I know you can return those sticks to the lumber yard and they'll exchange them. Like, yeah, it takes a guy an extra hour and a half, 2 hours to drive it over there, and your guy's an extra minute or 30 seconds to stick to like look at it, make sure it's straight before they use it. So what? Like you're making the money to excuse doing that. But
one of the things like it kind of bobbles my mind because sometimes I try to see how it works, because you think people out here are getting exactly what they deserve, but sometimes I do look at the market, like you said, maybe the market is, for a handyman, an average handyman gets paid, maybe 120, right? But there's competition like to be on the lowest end. But of course, you're not looking at the market. You want to give a good, affordable service, and of course, you're one of those needles in a haystack to find you that you do quality work. But I feel like even myself was like, I want to get paid what I deserve. But of course, not everybody does get paid what they deserve, because of course the guy who gets paid $85 is making sloppy work, but he's still getting paid.
he's getting paid because the funny thing is, it's because there's no competition nowadays. Like in the 3 towns around, besides myself, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 guys. 5 guys to service close to 20,000 people. The work is endless. And so yeah, he's getting paid because you can't find anybody else. You can't get anybody else. And even when like the one contractor in town, the one licensed contractor in town is literally does the shittiest work of us all. Like it's shitty work. You go in, cabinets are crooked. Like it's ridiculous. It doesn't finish work. Finally, one of his clients decided to sue him. And he's the only licensed one, but it's because nobody can get anybody else. So it's like the field that I work in right now is there's nobody, even in a big town. Like in Reno, I was charging 60 an hour, because the average was 75 an hour. I mean, and I started at 30 an hour, and I had people I'd get done and like tell them what they owed, and I literally like over and over again had people asking me, "Are you sure that's all I owe you?" And not one person, 2 people, like multiple clients. "Are you sure that's all I owe you?" Like they knew.
I'm
They
just kidding.
knew.
I'm just kidding. 75.
Like they knew what they were getting, you know what I mean? And they felt like they were robbing me. And I'm happy go lucky with the check I'm getting, because I was just working, $15 an hour at a warehouse type of thing, and here I'm getting $1,000 check, and someone's asking me, "Are you sure that's all I owe you?" Like that's a
Right.
good. That's,
They're feeling that you're getting underpaid, right? Like feel like
yep.
someone's getting bamboozled.
Yep.
And of
Like I
course that
remember.
and there you got people that do steal, of course, they get overpaid. And that's why
Hmm.
sometimes I feel that, even around the world, people are stealing.
I do my that was the whole thing of like my business motto. Like I registered a business name with the city so I could get a registered EIN so I could start like a business bank account, things like that. But I named the business the Affordable Handyman, and I even had started a website. I let the website go because I don't need a website or anything like that anymore. Because like when you start out, you think you need to advertise and all that, but like I said, it ends up coming down to word of mouth. But the website and the email was honestly handy. Honestly handy, affordable handyman at honestlyhandy.com. And it was because my whole motto was like my personal, do all things unto Yahweh.
Well,
Do
this
everything you do to the praise of Yahweh.
well, this kind of
So that's
reminds
like,
me of my coworker right now that he's charging like $30 an hour for soccer lessons, right? But he's
yeah,
realizing the market is like $120 for an hour, right? So
yep,
I'm telling him he's getting underpaid. But of course, he started realizing once he starts getting the licensing, getting the permits and the city fees and all these licenses for medical release forms, like yeah, no wonder these people who are charging 120 for those permits. It's like you said, all these little red tapes do up the price. But of course,
well,
on the side, yes, you can have that lower
it's
charge.
not just that. It's not just that. Like some of like things like that. So there's not too many hours in the day to do soccer practice. There's not too many hours in the day people come for soccer practice. So it's a very few hours in the day, and that kind of bumps up the price. Um, and then there's like even with my job, like there's instances where not all the time I charge by the hour anymore. Like I've learned that shoots me in the foot at the end of the day, like really bad. Because like I said, somebody will have like a job they need to do. Like, okay, here's an instance: the bathroom I had to remodel. I had to pull up the floor because the floor's all wavy. Um, the pipe going to the septic had like three 90-degree angles in it, which is not right. Got to replace all the piping and everything. I know that any other company that comes in, that's a $3,000 to $5,000 job that just happened. I've only got the bill written down for $1,200. It took me a total of 20 hours, which at 45 an hour is 900. Um, so $1,200 to me, I'm winning. Yeah, I'm not making the 3,000 I could on that job, but I'm winning. They're winning. Everybody's winning. I'm happy. You know what I mean? So it's like $1,200 in 3 days. Who ain't happy with that? You know what I mean? Or 20 hours. It's like, yeah, you know what I mean?
Yeah, and that gets into the point. I'll jump in here because you're like sending good vibes out there, doing good things. It comes back to you, man. It's like that law of the universe. You know, you're not pinching every penny. You're not stressing out about trying to make as much money every time, and you're hooking these people up. Everybody wins, and good things come back to you, man. It really does work like that.
And I look at it too as like, that's what kind of expressed to my wife was like, the one pipe job right there, just doing replacing the pipe structure and all that. Um, that paid for the CNC machine and the 3D printer. Boom, right there. And those things will make money. You know what I mean? It's like there's just so much freaking opportunity. And
Yeah,
I
especially
grew up
with a good
fucking
mindset
broke.
that you have.
Well,
Yeah,
you got good customers, right? I don't know, you got customers that still negotiate the price even though you're on the low end.
you know what's funny? You know what's funny, Lalo? Every
What?
time I've almost had a bad client, there has been something that happened that made it to where I didn't work for them. Like I was about to replace one guy's roof, and actually a guy from Discord, Doc, he came out here and he was I had him on some work and had him set up with some other work and whatnot. But he was helping me with one thing, and the guy was talking to my client. Doc was helping me hold something while I was screwing it together. Um, and there's no need for him to say anything to the guy or anything. I go over after work to talk to this guy about his roof, to measure it out, and he made mention to Doc. He was like, "Yeah, you were standing there. You didn't say anything to me." And Doc goes, "Are you somebody that I need to say anything to?" All like kind of innocent, but kind of witty too, right? And I was kind of laughing to myself. And the guy blew up. Like he blew up about it, and like ended up slamming his door in my face. And that took care of that. Like I know that if I had ended up doing the job for him, that character, there would have been certain things that we would have encountered. I would have encountered just by that character's nature. And so it's interesting how little things like that have happened that kept prospective clients that would have ended not good things away.
So Yahweh, if you don't mind sharing, what kind of things do you 3D print and stuff?
Oh no, like I said, that's a new frontier. We just bought the 3D printer. I ordered the Anycubics Cobra S1 combo, multicolor printer or whatnot. But the idea for printing, I was thinking I could do novelty stuff. Um, I know there's an avenue. I want to see if there's an avenue for like custom parts for like things people throw away and stuff like that. Also, little novelty things like tea candle holders, or what was another one we were thinking of? There's ones for plastic vases, but I want to do things that are practical. I don't particularly want to just do like, characters, though I know I could probably make good money with just characters, but I don't want to run into like licensing problems with that, copyright infringements. But I'm actually I'm a little more like the 3D printer. My excitement in that was making my kids toys. Like that was an excitement for me. The business opportunity in it is something we're going to explore, but my primary excitement in it is the ability to make my kids toys. Like they're already super excited for it, and like I'm super excited for it. Um, but yeah, now
Yeah, that's rad.
the real monetary one is the CNC machine. I want to actually end up getting a 4x4 machine. The one I bought was the Masuder, the Fox Alien Masuder 3. And it can do stainless steel, it can do copper, it can do aluminum. But my primary thing for monetary is wood. I want to make like 3D carvings, like how you see with like Indian temples, like those 3D expressions in the wood. But do like horses and cattle, because I'm in cattle country and I know horses and cattle and those kinds of things will sell. And I can, once I get out to the public, it will be like I can offer custom things like family pictures being carved 3D into wood, custom address signs, things like that. I know that will sell and that'll be a good business right there. But one of the other things we're excited for, personal thing with it is, since we're off grid, we've been building our own house and everything. So all the window trim, door trim, I want to do custom. I want to put through the machine and have it put custom inlays in it, 3D roses and animals and all that, and have that as the wood trim. The light switch plates be like animal reliefs and stuff. And then I even watched a guy do a door where he carved a 3D alligator like swimming in the water, and that was the door. And so I have plans with like for the kids' rooms, like do these like innate wolves and lions for my son, like with the yeah, and horses for my daughter, like they're running out of the door, and yeah, that kind of thing. But then I was even thinking about if I get going to a 4x4 machine where I can do doors, I can sell doors, custom 3D doors. Like who wouldn't want a door where it's like their favorite character or some animal that's like a 3D relief in a door, like some like you see like Hindu temples and stuff. Like that's badass. Now think of the business you could do selling a door like that, you know?
Dude, I've been trying to buy a 3D printer for years now. I've been putting it off, waiting until they get better. But I'll tell you what I really want 3D printed. I want to make my shed in the backyard. I want that to be the castle of Grayskull.
You could definitely 3D print parts for that.
You do it in pieces. Yeah, obviously you can't
Yeah,
do the whole
yeah.
thing, but you can do it piece by piece and then like click them together or something, make some kind of design.
Jeremy, look up the Any Cubic Cobra Kobra S1. It just got released this year. It's like a competitor to like all the more expensive ones. But through their website, they have like a deal right now. It's normally like 650. I got the printer combo, the combo printer. It comes with like a thing that holds multiple spools of different colors, so you can do multicolor prints, all in one. And I got it for with 5 kilos of 5 1 kilo spools of wire. I paid 620 this the other day. Yeah, look that one up. It's yeah, people are like ranting and raving about it. The speed in which it prints and how good it is. The Castle of Grayskull. That'd be pretty cool. And Jeremy will start a business building
I got a question
custom
for you, bro.
kits.
If Yahweh wasn't a king or the king, then who would be a close second?
I don't know. Like there's one thing that like no other proclaimed deity that's to do in like all of like deities that are on earth or in man's history. And that's
Yeah, but just assume that like that wasn't the rule, right? Let's assume that you had less of a moral stance or whatever. You know, like would it be DeWalt? You know, are you a Milwaukee guy? Like, do you like McDonald's or?
You're so ridiculous. You're so ridiculous.
Are you one of those Ryobi faggots?
Actually, what I have found is the Harbor Freight Power line is the most affordable line for a guy to get into, and they're very, very, very durable tools.
Well, if
Like
you take care of anything, they'll be all right. But yeah, I agree. Like,
no,
and then they have
I,
a limited lifetime warranty. It's a great way
no,
to get
bro,
started, at least.
you can beat it the shit up. I mean that those drills can fall from roofs and be good, bro. Like really good. Um, I mean I've grabbed some DeWalt stuff over time. Uh, but that's only because I didn't have a Harbor Freight near me, and I couldn't wait on it being shipped. Because $50 for a drill, a regular drill driver, and it comes with a battery and a charger. Like you go to Home Depot, Lowe's, you have to pay like on a deal 130 for like a charger for a drill with a charger and battery, and that's on a deal. But yeah, a guy could take $300 to Harbor Freight, and he'd walk out with an all cordless too, circular saw, a drill, a drill driver, an impact driver, a skill saw. Well, not a skill saw, this brand. I meant a reciprocating saw. And he could also walk out with an oscillator, and he'd still not pay $300. So you'd also be able to get some bits. You could probably get one of like the 3 amp hour batteries, so you don't change out batteries a bunch. But even getting 5 different items, each one's going to come with a battery, so you'll have batteries to be able to exchange between while others are on the charger. But all of those things, and literally those 5 tools, you can make thousands. Like the only thing you'll need besides those tools is a tape measure, a speed square. Carpenter square would be useful, but you can do most of what you'll need to do with a speed square and something straight to do the same thing as a carpenter square. Like your tape and a speed square will be the same thing. Take you more measurements, but same thing. But yeah, tape measure, pack of pencils, a speed square, a level, and those 5 power tools, and you can do 70 to 80% of like all the jobs that someone's going to hire you for. So like $300 and you can get into a business where you're making thousands. I've been trying to convince every young dude I know to get into a trade like that. Become a handyman. I guarantee that route. You can make $1 million by the time you're 30 if you start it when you're 18.
Yeah, I'm sorry, I got to step away for a second. If you could just DM me the list, then I'll check it out. I'm sorry, I couldn't hear everything that you said. But yes, DM me the list. I'm interested.
Okay.
Have y'all seen that new technology with copper tube pipes, like for running water? You know, not using plastics. We know to get away from plastic pipes. So as it comes into your house, you have copper tubing, and then you have the water filtration system. They have this thing now where you don't have to, use heat or anything to seal them up, and they got elbows you can maneuver and make the job very efficient and easy to do. You could buy that tool or those tools. There's a couple tools that you need with it, and you could just go around your neighborhood and start installing water filtration systems, whole house water filtration systems into people's houses, making a killing.
Well, even solar. Setting up a solar system. Most of the guys on here use computers can set up a solar system. And setting up backup solar systems for people, being able to source the 15 kilowatt battery all in one, like just the battery, and then being able to hook up the inverter charge controller to it and setting up some panels for somebody and basic wiring. You can make a business out of that. Like you can source those batteries direct from China, and they're good. They're because all the people who are selling them in the U.S. they're getting the same cells and insides straight from China. But the ones from China, you can get them for like right now. I think it's like 1,600 for a 15 kilowatt battery bank, and it's lithium iron phosphate. But right now in the U.S. for a 15 kilowatt system through Battleborn, which is a U.S. based company, same cells, same innards, same BMS inside, it's 8,000. So you could get the system, resell it to someone for 3,000, double your money on the item, and then you also have the cost of you can order a pallet of solar panels and sell from your pallet, or just charge them, put the charge for the pallet that they need, and then you're charging for the install and everything. I mean, the whole thing you can like on each house like 6-7 grand you can pocket after doing the whole thing, and you're still saving them. They'll end up paying like 12-13,000 when you're making like 6 or 7,000, but they're saving from a company out here that's charging them 25-30,000 for the same thing.